This is the Four-Man Rush. Hello, Panther fans, and welcome to another podcast of the Four-Man Rush. I'm your host, Timmy V.O., here with Kevin, Larry, and Will. And, we're going to have to talk about that. I don't even think you Panther fans really need for me to express other than we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the Titans game coming up, too. We'll talk about some minor movement. We had the gentleman that we just signed. He got kicked up to the practice squad, if I'm not mistaken, and some other things. But primarily, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the Tennessee game, and we'll talk about our feelings on what we can do to hopefully be better, and hopefully what the coaches are going to do and how they're going to look at how to scheme a little bit better for the next game. So, wow. Well, not too happy about 50 burgers. It's Anyway. So, let's just go ahead and get down to this, man. Damn 49ers game. And to you 49er fans out there, respect. That defense is real. Straight up. I don't know how else to put that. That defense was real. That defense was something else. Respect. I'll leave it at that. So, we'll start with Kevin, and then we'll go to Larry and go to Will, okay? And we'll just you guys just give your insight on what happened. We know what the hell happened. We'll just get more insight on what exactly led or transpired, and we'll go from there. So, Kevin, please.
Well, I'll start things off talking about the beat down by the Bay. You know, we damn sure wasn't at the dock of the Bay, I'll tell you that much. I mean,
no Otis Redding.
Simply put, that was an old-fashioned, take you behind the woodshed, drop your pants, grab your ankles, and I'm going to whoop your ass type of game. That's pretty much what it came out to from the opening round in the first quarter all the way to the finishing in the fourth. I mean, it was just a total annihilation of the Carolina Panthers. And crazy part was, as good as San Francisco is, we damn sure helped them out more than anything. I mean, I really don't know where to begin. It's like I want to say I'm over it, but as I'm looking back over these stats and these statistics, it's just really something that it's just going to be stuck with me for a long time. But, you know, my quick analysis of it from an offensive point of view, offensive line gave up 6 sacks in the first half. 4 of those sacks came on third down, drive killers. I mean, and an abundance of penalties. I mean, good God Almighty! Like we were like third in the league for like the fewest penalties prior to this game. But after this game, we had 9 accepted penalties for like 70 yards, and of those 9 penalties, 6 of them resulted in first downs for the 49ers. So we really did ourselves no favors. The third down defense was just not there. San Francisco converted 5 out of 10. That's 50%. I don't know what happened during the bye week. Last 4 bye weeks under Ron Rivera, we've came out with a W, but for whatever reason this week, we just got beat by a better team, point blank and simple. You know, and I just think that this can be, if we use this right, this experience can be something that can help us out, because we have been stating for weeks that the run defense was being masked by our sacks and our pressures on the quarterback, and it really got exposed to the utmost degree this past Sunday in San Francisco. 200 and what they ran for 200 and I think 32 yards rushing. I mean, you know, this was something that can be used as a good coaching tool, something that the players can be humbled and reevaluate themselves. And I think that how we come out this coming Sunday will determine a lot about the mentality of not just the players, but the coaching the coaches as well, the front office. This game coming up against Tennessee will definitely be something to see where our mind frame is at to make sure we don't have a post Pittsburgh free fall like we did last year in 2018 when we got annihilated on Thursday night football. So I'm just looking forward to learning from this, applying the lessons from this, and getting back on that winning track. So that's my take on it.
Larry, how you feeling, man?
Well, I may have the most unique perspective on this game, but I'm not really surprised of the outcome because honestly, for the most part, I saw the same team that we've seen throughout the 4 game winning streak. Christian McCaffrey, he had over 150 all purpose yards like he usually does. We got to the quarterback when we had opportunities. We had 3 sacks. When we're winning, everything is all good, and we tend to overlook the major deficiencies that we have as a team. And what Kyle Shanahan did is he really illuminated some of the problems that we've had since week 1. Our offensive line. I can nitpick. I can tell you about Trey Turner before he got hurt. The Arizona game, I graded him at a 100. He had a perfect game. He did everything he was supposed to do. Greg Van Roten has had some pretty decent games and had some bad games. We're yet to collectively put together a total dominant offensive performance as far as the offensive line goes. Guys have had struggles. Everybody knows what Darrell Williams is. Everybody knows what Paradis has been doing. And what the Niners did is they just basically put a flashlight on our problems. I think we needed a loss like this to kind of humble ourselves. It's been 8 weeks and we've yet to put together a complete offensive line dominant performance. So it got exposed. On the defensive side, yeah, we've been getting after the quarterback. Yeah, the pass defense has been good. We've gotten turnovers, we've gotten interceptions and stuff like that. But guess what the biggest problem has been? Even in the wins, we can't stop the run. And Kyle Shanahan took advantage of that. He ran all over us. Tevin Coleman has been running all over us for 3 years now. We haven't done anything to stop it. And I think where it starts at is the interior defensive line. Gerald McCoy has been very disruptive since he's been here, but he's been a liability in the run game. Nobody wants to admit that. Our safety play has been sorry in the run game. Nobody has wanted to admit that until today. Well, until, Sunday. Don Terry Poe, I hate to say this because I was his biggest critic last year. As far as stopping the run, he's been the most solid as far as just doing his job.
Yeah.
Not giving up ground, taking on double teams, keeping guys off his linebackers. He's the only one that really has been doing his job, to be honest with you. But the other DTs, Love, McCoy, Vern, it just showed that we missed KK. Because even though KK is like a pass rushing specialist, he still has a distinct ability to be a threat in the run game and to stop in the run game. We just don't have that, and we miss him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it came down to this week, fellas. It's not real hard. We didn't get exposed because our deficiency they've been exposed. Everybody knows that. If you watch film, everybody knows what our problems were. The 49ers just did a good job of taking advantage of our problems. And we got to do something to fix these problems. We have to learn to stop the run. And somehow, some way, whatever the group you want to put together, somehow, some way, we need 5 guys on the offensive line to put together a complete performance. And we needed this kind of loss. That's just how I feel. I know it's not the common feeling everybody else has. A lot of people are shocked, but I'm really not. They just took advantage of our weaknesses and they got exposed. Hopefully it's something that we can take advantage of and fix the problems.
I hope you're right. Because this is going to be an ugly season if we repeat what happened last year. That, man, good Lord, I hope it. Oh, anyway, Will, how you feel, man?
Well, I'm a little bit more. I'm disappointed with this performance a lot because if you rewind back to the Pittsburgh game last year, we lost 52-21. And in the post-game press conference, a quote from Ron Rivera stood out to me. It said, "What happened tonight?" And he said, "Guys are trying to do things that we're not asking them to do." And I feel like that exactly describes what happened yesterday. So why are we a year later and guys are still freelancing, trying to make home run splash plays and not playing within the system and being disciplined with their gap assignments and stopping the run game, keeping the eyes to watch for the screens and um, shovel passes coming. It's just the lack of discipline is what gets me. And it carries to both sides of the football. And defense guys aren't maintaining gap integrity, allowing running backs to find cut back lanes and get explosive plays. And on offense, I think this is the most penalties we've had all year. I mean, since when have Ron Rivera teams been penalized like this? So I think it's a very disappointing game, and it's concerning because it seems like it's becoming a common trend with this team that's been carrying over from last season. And I think with the 49ers, we found a team that took what we did best and used it against us. You look at maybe against the Arizona Cardinals or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a guy can shoot a gap, make a play in the backfield, celebrating big play. We're getting tackles for losses. Defense looks great. This is the best roster we've had, rah, go team. Kyle Shanahan's watching that saying, this guy's not maintaining gap responsibility. Although he made that play, he left his gap open, taking notes. I'm going to expose that. Your edge rushers getting upfield fast, getting after the quarterback. But are they using their eyes, looking for screens, looking for shovel passes, getting their hands up, trying to bat balls down? How are they in run support? Are they, forcing plays inside and, anchoring that edge? Kyle Shanahan's looking at those things. We're getting 80 sacks this year. Pass rush looks great. But Kyle Shanahan seeing these things, taking notes. Edge rushers are playing a little too aggressive upfield. I'm going to take advantage of that, jotting things like that down. And it's just an accumulation of things that we've been doing so well this year that I felt the 49ers just studied that defense and just found out the perfect way to attack us. And the thing is, when you watch the tape, it's not a matter of effort. It's the same Panthers we've been seeing all year. Pass rush, aggressive, getting upfield. Difference is the 49ers use it against us. We're going to use screen plays and shovel passes to use your aggression against you. We're going to running backs are going to be able to find ways to cut back against over-aggressive linebackers. Your safeties are taking poor angles. We're going to expose that. And I just think all of this just was an accumulation that allowed our defense to give up 2 75-yard drives in the first half, scoring touchdown drives. So I'm very disappointed in the defensive performance. As far as the offense goes, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, we got a second-year quarterback going against the number 2 defense in the NFL. This was supposed to be a 16-10, 17-13 type game. We needed our defense to play the way they know how to play to help keep us in this game and compete with this team. But we just didn't get that this game. But I think the penalties killed us, of course. Kyle Allen showed his inexperience rather. But you can't say I'm surprised. I mean, we're not expecting this kid to go 80-0, never throw an interception and win 10 Super Bowls. I know a lot of people like withdrawing those Kurt Warner, Tom Brady comparisons, saying he's the future. At the end of the day, he's still a developmental quarterback, and every game's going to be a learning experience for him. So I think this was, in a way, it was good for him because he has some things. He can go back to the drawing board, study the tape, and be better against Tennessee this week. So, we just got to put it behind us and move on. But there's a lot of concerning trends I'm seeing from this team carrying back to last year.
That ain't going to play. That ain't going to work out, man. I mean, I know a lot of folks been talking about Ron Rivera needs to go. I mean, he's the winningest coach in franchise history, mind you. However, this lack of discipline. I mean, pros are pros. Don't get me wrong. Pros are pros. If you're a professional, damn it, you need to act like one. But this constant reoccurrence of people losing concentration, losing focus, it's been going on every year. Also, like 3 years in a row here. It seems like these guys are just losing that mental awareness, and then we try to kick it back up again against other opponents, and then we just fall on our face. Jeez, man, what do we need to do, fellas? What we need to do?
I mean, I'll debate with Will a little bit. I know that he expected a better performance from the defense, but at the same time, those 3 turnovers, those 3 interceptions that Kyle Allen had, each of them put the Niners inside the 30-yard line. So that's about 20, 21 points.
That's true.
You can't really blame on the defense. You still got to be smart. So I understand he's young, he's making mistakes, but we're all pretty much active in these Facebook groups. We see people calling him Tom Brady every day. Like I said, this was just a humbling experience, not just for the players, not just for the coaches, but for Panther Nation. All of us study film. We're really, really deep into this. We really, really love our team, and we really try to be, instructors. We try to provide education to the rest of the fan base. But we know we saw this coming. We knew that we couldn't stop the run. We knew our offensive line wasn't where it needed to be. So it shouldn't be as shocking as it is, but it should hurt.
Yeah.
But all I care about is, as long as it's a humbling experience, I actually treat this like a blessing. Like, we needed a whooping like this. Now, instead of being so aggressive upfield and being susceptible to the screen passes and the shovel passes, that gives your rookie Brian Burns something to think about now. That gives Haynes something to think about now. That gives Obata something to think about now. They threw a whole lot of stuff at us that we've never seen before. So it's a lot of positive things to take out of this loss. All it's going to do is make us better if Ron Rivera has the culture right in the locker room. If guys know how to face adversity and know how to overcome it. That's been the biggest question mark for me. Can we overcome adversity? Because like you said, Tim, we haven't shown that we can in the last 3 years. Aside from a comeback win against Philly, when things are bad, they get worse. When things are really bad, they get really, really, really bad. It's like we don't have a gray area. Either we're doing really, really good, 4-game winning streak, 6-2 last year, or we're doing really, really bad. You got to find that gray area where things get rough, but you find a way to overcome it. That's all I want from this football team. Just show me that this loss don't mean too much. Just show me that we can get over it and we can get better from it. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit more to what was just said, I know you was talking about the 3 interceptions. By the time Kyle Allen threw his second interception, the score was already 34-13. So, yeah, those interceptions did start deep within our drive, but it was already pretty much damn near decided before the last 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter just kind of, just dug the coffin even deeper for us on this game. But everything else, was pretty much spot on. Y'all know me, fellas. I'm always optimistic. I'm trying to be realistic. I try to find the silver lining. I'm trying to stay positive. Yeah, y'all know how it was in the chat Sunday. I'm still pounding. I'm still thinking, hey, it ain't over. When we got that safety and that touchdown to make it 13-27, I could have sworn, all right, gonna start the comeback, but it just wasn't meant to be. So, we gotta see how the script plays out. But again, I'm just this can, our greatest defeat can actually eventually turn into our biggest triumph. Because if we are the team that we think we can be and want to be, and we're damn near almost a couple players away from being totally healthy, we can look back at this as the moment that we got on the type of run that we need to take us to where we all hope and want to be. So I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. True Panther football for the 2019 season, I see it as an opportunity that's going to all begin with the loss in San Francisco. And I hope in a few podcasts down the road, we're going to look back at it and be like, yeah, it was ugly, but it was necessary. So, I'm just looking forward to see how we bounce back.
Yeah, I think with what people got to realize when you play, you got two teams with solid defenses and elite pass rushes. The team that jumps out early and gets a lead has the advantage because you turn your opponent one-dimensional and force them in must-pass situations. So now you can be more aggressive with your defensive play calling. Your pass rushers don't have to be as, disciplined with worrying about the run because the other team's going to pass. So your edge rushers can get after the quarterback faster. Your DBs can take a lot of more risks. And I think that's, in a nutshell, that's what happened this week. And I compare it to the week before in our game against Tampa Bay when we jumped out to the early lead. Tampa Bay reverted to a one-dimensional pass offense, and we were just able to get after, be aggressive, and get after Jameis and fluster him and force them into all of those turnovers. So I think by San Francisco being the team to jump out to that early lead today and then combining that with their front four and their pass rush, Kyle Allen was basically in Jameis Winston's position a couple weeks back in London, where he's now in must-pass situations. He's going to be under constant pressure. DBs are going to be sitting on routes playing aggressive, and he just never been put into a situation like that before. So it's just when you play great defenses like this, you gotta keep the score close or jump out on them early. Because I think if the opposite happened and we were forcing Jimmy Garoppolo into a one-dimensional pass offense, I think we would have seen a similar type of result. So I just think falling in that early hole just really made it difficult for this team to come back. Our offense isn't really built to come back in the first place, for one. So I think the 51-13 score is not really reflective of the gap between us and the 49ers. I just think it's the circumstance of how the game had played out, with one team falling from behind, which allowed the other team to just be more aggressive in their play calling.
And with the debacle on the offensive line, we was chatting about this as the game was going on. They started out with Darrell Williams at right tackle and Moton at left tackle.
This dude.
And when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is what we do now. We had speculation like, what, did Daly not have a good week of practice? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking this was Rivera's last chance to let Darryl Worley show that he has a place to, still make reps. But honestly, I think that unless injuries hit, I really don't expect to see a lot of more playing time the rest of the season from Darrell Williams with the way Daly's playing to stay healthy, and hopefully Greg Little coming back. I think he has a place as a depth player, but as far as his days as a starter, I think they're done for us. Like I say, barring any type of injuries, because the moment we try to hide him at right tackle, what the 49ers do, they sent Bosa right over there. And on the first third down, what happens? Darrell Williams picks right back up at where he was last time he played tackle in Tampa and gave up a third down sack with great ease. So I pretty much think that Darrell Williams' time here in Carolina as far as a starter, I think they're pretty much up now. And unless injuries happen again, I really don't think we're going to see much of him, which honestly is not going to bother me much at all, because he's just a shell of his former self. He's done went from an all-pro to all hell no, and I pretty much don't have any optimism left for him to reestablish himself as a solid player.
There is a controversy.
Listen, if we agree all the time.
Hey, well, look.
Hey, but if it's the truth, it's the truth. I can't see anyone saying pro Darrell Williams at this point. If so, you just lying to the people, man. We done, you already accused Rivera of lying and the medical staff of lying. We can't be lying along with everybody else.
we 4-man rush, man. We got to keep it 100 for the fans,
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, this ain't Fox News. We ain't got to cause no controversy. We just want to keep it 100. I'll tell you
Speaking of keeping it 100, let's talk about a certain safety on this roster that had me mad at this game, man. I'm going to throw out a stat for y'all.
What's up?
Analytics.
Get them.
Football outsiders, I don't know. They got time on their hands to calculate this, but they do track it. They calculate a stat after 10 yards. After a running back gains 10 yards, how many open field yards does he gain against your defense? So after he gets 10 yards, how many yards does he gain after that? So it's a reflection of, how well is your secondary tackling and preventing 5, 6, 7-yard gains from becoming 30-yard gains. And guess who's dead last in this statistical category? The Carolina Panthers.
What?
So I'm going to call it YAB. You got yards after catch, which we call yak. We got yards after contact, which they also say YAC. I got a new stat for y'all, which is YAB, YAB. yards after Boston. Because
Oh,
once a running back gets in the open field, Trey Boston doesn't stand a chance. Like, why we even got a safety back there, man? He takes terrible angles, and I'm not getting our front seven off the hook. I already put them under the bus. You got to be more disciplined
put
with their
themselves
gap
under the
control.
bus.
But the safety is supposed to be the last line of defense. And he's supposed to win more of those than what you're winning.
Yes.
But I'm tired of watching him dreads flying all wild across the field, chasing a guy, taking a terrible angle, and giving up these explosive run plays. I think we got to start. I want to see better play from that position. I'm not going to talk about the draft in October because it's way too early.
That's way
we got to
too
get
early.
production from the guys we got right now. And I just want to see better safety play from both guys, actually, because Eric Reed had some, poor gap responsibility as well in that last game. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah, he had I think he had one hit on the quarterback and a sack or whatever. But outside of that, Jesus.
I mean, how many of y'all just knew it was going to be a Tevin Coleman versus Trey Boston moment again? I mean, that moment from 2016, that December game back in Charlotte, just came vividly back when it's along the same sideline as well, along the on the left side of the defense. If you go back and look at those runs that Tevin Coleman ran Sunday, and that one he ran back 2016 when he was with the Falcons, they damn near look identical with the same results. I mean, Trey Boston got 10 yards in front of him, and he got smoked twice. So, yeah, yards after Boston, it's going to be a 4-man rush stat as long as Boston is on the team. But, you was holding out for $8, $9, $10 million a year with angles like that, bro? Nah.
I understand that you're a DB. You don't want to be tackling running backs and taking on guys coming downhill at you full speed. So, you back there, you hoping, come on, Luke, get him down. I don't want him getting back here. And you can see that in him. I mean, he's really taking poor angle. He's like, come on, James, tackle him. Get him before I got to, get contact and get there. And you just see things like that, man. It's like, just step up and make the tackle, man. Keep your head up. What happened to all your tackling fundamentals,
Oh, he has none.
I mean, it's like,
he has none.
I like Trey. Don't get me wrong. I like his his coverage ability. He's a ball hawk back there. Tracks the ball very well. He's a playmaker, makes a lot of plays on the ball. And that's been really helpful this year. It's what we need from our secondary. But, just the run defense, taking poor angles like that, just didn't like what I saw last game.
Hey, well, I agree with you, man. I love his coverage angles. I like the way he plays in coverage. And at the same time, I'd rather him take the right angle, come up, try to make a tackle, be like Kurt Coleman. If you got to get ran over, get ran over. At least we don't have to. We can just say, "Oh, my man's got ran over. He's not big enough or strong enough." Cool. We've seen some of our best safeties get ran over, and we'll still be content with their performances. But this guy's it's like Gerald McCoy was talking to him pregame because he ducking the smoke.
I want all that smoke.
If you really look at it, Trey Boston is the one ducking the smoke. So it's like,
man,
wow.
He trying to find shelter, man. He ain't even trying to have none of that. That's ridiculous, bro. I'm surprised he hasn't had I don't mean to put any type of bad mojo on Trey, but it amazes me that he hasn't had a neck injury yet. The way he tackles, he comes flying in there like a damn Flying Dutchman, man. What is that?
That's the thing. He's a big hitter. He likes he doesn't seem like a guy that shies away from contact. I've seen him come up and lay the wood on guys, but just when he gets in the open field with these running backs, he's diving at ankles. Just ineffective. He's taking poor angles, chasing guys. It's like
he's not ducking the smoke when a guy is defenseless. Like if somebody trying to catch a pass, yeah, he gonna bring that wood. But when you bring that smoke at him, whole different ball game.
They don't want no part of it.
Ole!
Whole different ball game. When it's a ball carrier with the ball in his hands coming right at his neck.
Yeah,
it's a whole different ball game. It's different when you running the post and you looking at the ball and he coming right at. Trey is he with all of that. When you're just a defensive receiver, he's with all of that. But when it comes to you running right at him, whole different story.
Totally different story. Now I know people are beating up on poor Kyle. poor Kyle, man. I really don't think he knew what he was running into neither, man. That defensive front was just wow. Poor guy.
Hey Tim, I'm not super disappointed in Kyle Allen, to be honest with you. Like you expect this to eventually happen. Like what
Yeah.
quarterback in the history of NFL has never had a humbling game like this? Every
Right.
single one of them have had it.
Right.
Every single one of them has had it. Like it happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you got these fans out here that's totally against him, I have no argument back at him when the dude done had 7 fumbles in 4 games. Now he's got a 3-pick game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a really good game that first start where he threw 4 touchdowns, but he's been pretty average ever since then. He's just been doing just enough for us to get the win. And you can't knock him for that.
He's been a backup. That's what he's
He's
supposed
been a
to do.
backup, but he's not Tom Brady.
No.
And
What
that's
is
the
that?
problem right there. Like, so many people trying to put this man on the pedestal just because they hate Cam Newton so much.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the boy done fumbled 7 times. He done threw three interceptions in 1 game. It is what it is. He's a backup. That's what it is.
And unfortunately,
I gotta disagree with a few of that. Like, to me, he's under the microscope and under intense scrutiny because of the Cam Newton situation. And I think people have been unable to evaluate him as a standalone player without comparing him to what Cam Newton's doing. I mean, let's put it in perspective and just judge Kyle Allen as Kyle Allen without Cam Newton and the haters, the racism aspect of it, because it's there. Just let's remove all of that from the picture and let's look at, he's a undrafted free agent quarterback, didn't get much of a college career, bouncing from school to school in his, 6th start? So,
yeah.
Compare him to other second-year quarterbacks. We watched 49ers games. What did they do to Baker Mayfield 2 weeks ago? They were all over him.
All over him.
He had a terrible game. When Bill Belichick got a chance to play against second-year quarterback Sam Darnold, what did he do? Darnold was seeing ghosts.
Man, yeah.
He had a terrible game. When you line up Kyle Allen versus Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, the Bills, Josh Allen, these are first-round quarterbacks. And you compare how Kyle Allen's doing compared to them, it's a steal to be able to have a guy like that as an undrafted free agent. So I wouldn't call him, quote-unquote, he's a backup, because he started 6 games now. And he's going to be the starter until Cam Newton's healthy and he's ready to come back. I think the bigger issue, he's an inexperienced guy in his 6th start. It's going to be a learning process. He's going to go through growing pains that all young quarterbacks have to go through. So I think what we want to know now is, okay, you've had your bad moment, you've had your quote unquote exposure game. How are you going to bounce back and learn from this? And I think we're going to get a good chance to see that, because this Tennessee Titan defense he's about to see this week is no joke. They may not be as good as the San Francisco 49ers, but they have that type of talent and have the potential to be that good.
Yeah, they had a good defense last year. But, Kyle is Kyle. He has a good arm. There's no doubt about that.
I see some folks sleeping on that Titans defense, but they've been the top 10 unit for the last 6 years. Straight up.
Yeah, they can play, but I think Kyle can handle it, man. I just wish that in a way I think Norv is holding him back just a little bit, because based on his play calls, because it seems to me Kyle doesn't go through his progressions. Right, he'll lock onto one side of the field and won't even come to the other side. It's like he has an idea what Norv wants him to do, and he does it. If he can improvise just a little bit and go through his progressions a little bit more, I think he'll have more success. But again, that relies on giving him time to do said things and things of that nature. But yeah, he's going to get tested on Sunday, that's for sure. Our Titans defense ain't no joke. Christian might get tested too. We'll see.
Yeah, I think, too, one thing I noticed, Samuel was getting behind the 49ers on a couple plays, but he just didn't have that arm strength to be able to push the ball downfield to get it to him. So that might be, I think when you talk about NFL prospects, they like arm talent. So maybe his arm strength was a big concern for him coming out of college, which is why he wasn't drafted. So that's one thing you can see. But I think also his pocket presence is a little shaky. and he kind of runs himself into sacks. I'm not excusing our offensive line. They haven't played well, but Kyle Allen's kind of hasn't made it easy on them and has kind of walked himself into some of those sacks. For example, on that first sack where Darrell Williams gave up against Bosa, DJ Moore was running an out route, and Richard Sherman was playing inside leverage. So Kyle Allen needs to make that anticipation throw before DJ comes out of his break. DJ would have been in perfect position to beat Richard Sherman on that out route. But Kyle kind of was kind of hesitant in getting the ball out. And against a defensive line like that, you can't afford to hold the ball that long. And that's pretty much Norv's offense, too. So I think the game's moving a little fast for him right now, is what I've seen.
Yeah.
He needs to – he's just very inexperienced at, moving around the pocket, reading defenses, making those anticipatory throws, helping his line out. He just needs more experience. But I think we can win games with him, but he's still a work in process. It's not – I think it's unfair putting him under the microscope the way people have been and trying to skip his development process and crown him already. Let him go through that development process, and we'll evaluate once he's there.
If you want to crown him, crown his ass.
I agree with you 100%. Well, I want the same energy to be shown amongst all 53 guys. That's all I want. Show the same energy for everybody. Cam Newton worst year, I think he might have fumbled the ball 12 times, but Kyle Allen fumbled the ball 7 times in 4 games. Just show the same energy for everybody, because I'm not biased at all with this situation. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Nah, I don't care.
Clearly, because y'all don't see me in no groups. Y'all don't see me talking about the quarterback situation at all. I don't care who playing quarterback. I just want a win. If Kevin got to go out there and throw me 2 first downs and hand the ball off to McCaffrey all 4 quarters, if it means we win, we win. I'm good with that. I don't care who play quarterback. Just show the same energy, because at the end of the day, like Norris tells us every day, these guys are human, man. They see what we saying. They see the criticism. They see the ridicule and all of that stuff. So if you're going to be scolding somebody, show the same energy with everybody. That's all I'm asking. Get the same criticism per player. All 53 guys.
Personally, I want to see Kevin. I want to see Kevin throw that ball to you, bro, and get that first down, for real. I want to see that.
Nah, Kev going to throw that. Kev, I know Kev. He could throw me a 40-yard non-route any day of the week.
What's up?
He got it in him forever. I know what he can do.
That's what's up, man.
Truth be told, I like a couple summers ago, I was chucking it about between 40 to 50 yards now. So I mean,
hey.
We ever do a lineman halfback option or something? You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? But I got a few skills left though.
We need to have a 4-man rush Thanksgiving football game, or we can wait till Christmas. Wait till some snow come out. We need to all meet up and just play some 2-hand touch football, man.
Hey man, we can do when we all meet up in Atlanta, right?
Absolutely. December 8th, y'all know y'all ain't got to pay for no hotel.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that.
I'm here with y'all. Y'all good, man. You too, Tim.
Y'all have fun with that. Send me pictures.
No, you going to play, but if you ain't going to play, you going to have to be the ref.
Oh,
you can't listen. You can't be worse than the rest we got out here now.
Hey, you never lied. You never lied. I don't know, man. These refs, but I ain't. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So let's talk more in depth about this Tennessee team, man. Mariota, this defense. Who wants to take a first shot at that, man? 'Cause I haven't done my homework on these guys other than they're next to us.
The Mariota bench, they got Ryan Tannehill, the Dolphins quarterback, replaced Marcus Mariota. He won 2 straight games for them.
Oh,
but man, Tennessee a sneaky good team. They're not flashy, so people are like, it's a team. You look at them and you say, why are they good? But they're a good team. I mean, it's a very tough game following the 49ers game. I'll put you that. I think they're a very solid, sound, well-coached team. They got a lot of good players. I mean, Kevin Byrd, the safety, arguably the best at his position. He made first team All-Pro 2 years ago. He's a ball hawk back there. So you got to be careful. Guys, you think a guy's open, Kevin Bird's going to jump that route and make plays. I think they're ninth in the NFL in turnovers forced, and they got the fourth scoring defense in the NFL. So they're very opportunistic. They bend a little, but don't break. They keep guys out of the end zone, keep points off the board. They got a solid defensive line. We struggled with defensive tackles this year. Matt Paradis on that interior. He struggled with Vita Vea.
Yes.
We talked about a lot. He struggled with DJ Reader from Houston. They got Jarrell Casey, who might be as good as anybody we faced all year.
Jesus.
It's not a name you hear. Here, watch the NFL 100 series every year. I'm sure you'll find Jarrell Casey on there probably each of the last 2-3 years. He's that good of a player. They got Harold Landry, their own version of Brian Burns. Good speed rusher, bendy guy, gets after the passer. They're a good defense. That Rashawn Evans, Alabama linebacker, is playing very well. And their secondary, they got Adoree Jackson, who I think is a lot like Dante Jackson. He was a sprinter at USC, very fast, athletic player. I think he's hurt. And they got Malcolm Butler, and when you all know him from the game-winning interception when Pete Carroll didn't hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl that one year. But other than that, I think this is as good as a defense as we'll see all year. So definitely not an easy game we got coming up this week. And on offense, it just starts with Derrick Henry. So they want to pound the ball, but they do have some young, talented receivers as well. So I'm not saying I don't think we can win this game, because I think they play our style of ball. And I think it's more, we can, if we jump out to an early lead, force them into those must-pass situations and get pressure on Tannehill, I think we can, this is a winnable game for us, but it's definitely not a team that you can take for granted.
Hey, well, to add to your point, bro, Jarrell Casey is just as disruptive as Aaron Donald. The reason why you don't know about it, he plays for the Titans and not the Rams. Like, the Titans are a very small market, but
it's true.
They've got Pro Bowl, All-Pro type talent on all three levels. This defense is going to be just as good as any defense we've faced all year. And just like we've gone through growing pains with our receivers, like with DJ and Curtis, they've gone through similar things. Corey Davis is supposed to be one of the most talented players, not just receivers, but most talented athletes in the NFL. And you can actually see his growth. Like, I see his growth from week to week, from year to year. So it's not going to be a cakewalk, just like you said. They got talent all over the place, just like we have. People might have forgotten, but they played the Patriots deep in the playoffs, 2 years ago? They're not far removed from being a Super Bowl contending team. You never called them that because, again, they're in Tennessee, small market, but they were a game short of playing for an AFC championship. So definitely not a team I'm sleeping on. And I know, Kev, you were about to speak. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just adding to Will's point.
Oh, no, you good. I was just pretty much, it gave me time to kind of get my thoughts ready for my segment about the Tennessee Titans. I mean, thanks to Will, put me on to the Football Outsiders website this morning. I was able to gather some information and figure out what might be our best plan of success against this team. Just looking at the Tennessee Titans, as far as their offense line, it's pretty much it's simple. This is kind of like going to be like the Jacksonville game all over again with Fournette. What Tennessee like to do is pretty much line up and try to just beat you in the head with Derrick Henry. I'm looking at their numbers here when it comes to power run success. They're fifth overall in the NFL at 75%. That means when they line up to run power run plays, and if you don't do what you're supposed to do, they gonna run your ass over and keep doing it until you try to stop it. Now, on the flip side of it, though, they're also near the top of the league as far as most run and play stuff behind the line of scrimmage as well. It shows here that their stuff ranking is 28 out of 32 at 24%. So on 24% of their runs, basically every 1 out of 4 running plays, they're getting stuffed. So by volume, they're going to run at you a lot, and they're pretty much see if you can handle that volume and if it's going to break. this is a game, and I think we stated this on another podcast. Hey, let's just put 8 in the box, and I dare you to beat, and I dare your quarterback Tannehill to beat us. Because on the flip side, when it comes to pass protection with the Tennessee Titans, they are dead last. They've already given up 34 sacks already through, what is it? This is week 9, so I don't know if they had their bye week yet. But either way, they already on a pace for 70 already sacks given up. I mean, they're dead last there. Is pretty much stop the running game, penetrate that offensive line of theirs to force them to be one-dimensional. And that talented defense they got, one thing that neutralizes any great defense is attrition. Have them get them on the field, time of possession. And I think this is something that we can take advantage of if we come out right and come out like we should. So, stopping the run consistently, and we can get like a 2-touchdown, 14, 17-point lead and force Tannehill to start dropping back, then that's when we can really dictate the flow of this game. So those are opportunities that I see for us against the Tennessee Titans. Let's load up the box and get after Henry and be like, all right, Tannehill, do what you got to do.
I just want to see how Christian McCaffrey reacts, because he looked pretty pissed Sunday, and I just want to see him just bust that defense up. But as you guys mentioned, that front's going to make some gaps for him, and they did a decent job with that, obviously, because Christian had a lot of good decent runs. Man, he would have had more yards than he actually wound up with for the penalty. So I just want to get this bad taste out of my mouth, man.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think the jury's out on the Panthers. Kyle Allen's going to have to make some throws to win this game, I think.
Yeah. And
I think he can. I've seen him do it, but it's going to be I think this is a game where he's going to have to put his big boy pants on and help. The defense and Christian McCaffrey have done a lot to help him out and make his first NFL starts more comfortable and ease into it. I think now it's his time to grow up, and I want him to show that he can play. He can be a starter in this league. I think he's had one game against the lowly Cardinal defense where he's looked like a guy that can be a long-term starter, whether it's the Panthers or somewhere else. No, I'm not causing a controversy. I'm just speaking on Allen himself. I just want him to come to this Tennessee game, everything he's learned over his past 6 starts, and just kind of see him put it all together to show better pocket presence, more comfortable, making proper reads, proper throws, and just establish himself like, yeah, I'm here. I can be a long-term starter in this league.
Amen. I think he can, though, man. I think he can. We're about to figure out what this boy is about. We're about to figure out what this team's about. We're about to figure out what this coaching staff's about.
I mean, their defense, even to this day, is not the 49ers, but they're still pretty much top 10 in every category.
They worry me, bro. No, for real. They worry me, for real.
It's top 10 in every category. They got elite talent on all 3 levels. It's not going to be an easy road for Kyle Allen, but like Will was saying, if he can overcome this adversity and actually put together a solid showing against a top 10 defense, that's going to speak volumes. And it's not going to speak volumes for him, but it's going to speak volumes for the Norv Turner offense. So many people are doubting Norv Turner at this point, too. It's not just the players. I see people in these groups doubting Norv Turner. They saying, why you keep, force-feeding McCaffrey? Why you not spreading around all the weapons we've got? Why you not doing this? Why you not making it easier on the defense? Like, you got a lot of people that's knocking Norv Turner at this point. So, and my dad is a Vikings fan, so I've seen this before. I've seen a lot of criticism put on Norv Turner in general, like throughout his stops, not just Carolina, but Minnesota, even Dallas towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be this not just a big game for the player. It's not just a big game for the quarterback. I feel like us as diehard Panther fans, we deserve some kind of an answer from Norv Turner.
I guess it seems like the offense just hasn't, Larry already talked about this earlier, but they just haven't had a game where everybody's clicked on all cylinders. And I'm not using the excuse that we have a backup quarterback, because I just don't believe. I mean, if you're on the field, you're a starter, and we need your best. Mm-hmm. So I just want to see a complete offensive performance and just head this team in the right direction.
Yeah, I was asked earlier in a post while I was at work about my whole view and take of this whole, Kyle Allen thing. And I've said it from the jump. Anybody that's on the 53-man roster, anybody that's on the 10-man practice squad, that's who I support. That's who I hold down. Mm-hmm. And I made a good analogy, and someone thought it was pretty cool how I said it. Cam Newton is like that Michelin tire. All right, his tire got popped. We had to throw Kyle Allen on as a spare. Everybody want to ride this spare all the way to our final destination that we want to go. It don't work that way. And it's not to knock Kyle Allen or think that, he's not capable, but as Will brilliantly broke down, he's only in his sixth start. Takes experience, takes reps. I think that he will develop into a quality NFL caliber quarterback. But once Cam Newton is 100%, man, it's a no-brainer. All this, like, because of his streak with no interceptions, and the last person that did this was Warner and all this other stuff, man, I was just sitting back like, if I speak the truth, it's going to sound like I'm hating, but at the same time, y'all killing me, Smalls. Hey, I'm all for whoever's going to help us get a victory at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't care if we win 3-2 or we win 45-42. At the end of the day, if we're 1-0, that's all I want. That's all I can ask for. So, yeah, I've been on record saying, to you guys, I think Cam probably come back, November 17th against the Falcons. So I want to see how Allen bounce back against Tennessee. As if y'all ain't heard yet, our game against Green Bay got flexed from 1:00 to 4:25. I don't know if they're anticipating it as well, but until Rivera makes it known that Cam's going to play, it's the Kyle Allen show, and he's got my full support. And I'm looking forward to seeing him bounce back and recover from this because, for all the players on the team, we should be giving out 53 ass whoopings this coming Sunday. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, on that topic, I think for once, Panther Nation needs to put this quote-unquote quarterback controversy aside and just get behind the team in this crucial part of the season. Because right now, we're 8th place. We're not even a playoff team right now. So we got some work to do. I mean, it's going to be a hard fight trying to even get a wild card spot right now because you got the 4 division leaders. The weak NFC East, unfortunately, gets an automatic berth. So you're going to look at the Dallas Cowboys. They're all probably going to get in. Green Bay from the north, San Francisco from the west, and between New Orleans, who's got a 2-game lead on us now, in the south. So then the wild card, you got Minnesota, Seattle, and LA, and us sitting in 8th place. So any loss that we incur with Kyle Allen just makes it that less likely that we're going to be able to get into the playoffs at the end of the year. So, what's the worst that's going to happen? If Cam comes back against Atlanta and we lose these next 2 games, we're going to be sitting 4-5, and it's going to be a question of whether you want to bring your star quarterback back for meaningless games, and that's going to be the new topic of discussion. Not whether we're going to ride the hot hand, but whether it makes sense to bring him back at all to play in meaningless games when it's a highly unlikely that we're going to make the playoff berth. So what we need to do right now is just get behind the team, support them so that they can win these games, put themselves in position to make the playoffs so that when Cam comes back, that decision becomes easier and he can help carry the momentum into the playoffs. So that's what we want the discussion to be. Cam elevating this team further and carrying them to the playoffs, not debating whether it makes sense to put them on IR because we're so far out of the playoff picture because we're losing games. So let's just support our team for once and put all this controversy aside because they need our support to try to bounce back and get these wins.
Especially in the home games, folks. We got a couple of playoff teams that we're going to be playing over the next couple of weeks, folks. Outside of Atlanta and the Redskins, we're playing playoff teams. I mean, Tennessee might not be a playoff team, but they have a playoff caliber defense. So, guys, ladies, folks, show up to the games. Show up. You can have my spot because I ain't going to be there. Show up to the games, folks. They're gonna need your help for real. It's imperative. We can still make it to the playoffs. We can still salvage this season, but we got playoff games twice against the Saints, Seattle, Green Bay. The Colts. The Colts are playing, folks. I mean, they're vying for that number one spot in the AFC South. It's not going to be a cakewalk by any measure. We're gonna see what we're about. Oh boy, man, I had some high hopes for this team, and I still do. We got the talent. We just got to come together and overcome this adversity that we're facing right now. So, hey, anybody hear about any player personnel moves on the Panthers or anything? I know I mentioned at the beginning that the gentleman from Wake Forest, I believe he got boosted up to the practice squad, I think.
Yeah, this week, what to keep an eye out on, the punt and kick returner.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a volatile position this year. It actually kind of hurt us in the 49ers game as well. We had that muff kickoff with Bonifant and a muff punt with Zylstra. We didn't lose the ball. We didn't turn the ball over, but it cost us valuable field position. Mm-hmm. But Greg Dortch from Wake Forest was a guy I really liked coming out of college. He's an explosive playmaker, adds value as a returner and a slot receiver. So maybe look for him to, now that he's been with the team for a couple of weeks, he might be a guy that can take over the return duties. We signed Braxton Miller from Ohio State, who a lot of our Buckeye Panther Nation fans are familiar with. But he was injured, so he was put on IR. So that's more of a project player. I think looking ahead long term, he's not going to do anything for us this year, but they probably want to give him a shot to compete next year in camp. And they signed this kid, Quadri Henderson from Pitt, to the practice squad. Mm-hmm. And these aren't guys. Don't get caught up in why aren't we signing AJ Green instead of this guy. This is the practice squad. What we're trying to do is find guys with athletic traits that can be molded and developed to become productive players down the road. Like Demir Bird was an example. Every once in a while you may get a guy like that. So that's what that is. As far as the 52-man roster, guys that suit up on Sunday, we have 52 players, so that leaves one open roster spot. I know rumors are that Hurney wanted to add another wide receiver. He didn't do that through the trade market, so I don't know what his plan is there. I mean, there's some vet guys out there that I don't think that's going to happen. Offensive line depth could be an option, but I think it's going to be a move on the offensive side of the ball. So just stay tuned. I don't think Hurney's done moving and shaking.
All right, folks. I believe we covered pretty much all we can cover, other than the fact that we're still salty as hell about Sunday. Not much we can do about that. Time heals all wounds, and we'll see what this squad's about Sunday. Well, they're going to have the absolute full-fledged support of the four-man rush when they get on that field on Sunday, and I hope they got your they got your support too. So, any closing remarks, gentlemen?
I'm good. Just keep pounding, fellas. Just keep pounding. Panther Nation, keep pounding. Don't give up on this team, man. We're still in a good position to try to make a run for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And just remember, one loss is one loss, whether it's 66-3 or 51-13. So you don't get an extra loss because they put a 50 burger on you. Move on and let's get ready for the Titans.
Kevin?
Yeah, and I just want to say that, as ugly that loss was, the truth is, the reality is that we still control our destiny. Everything we possibly could want and have out of the season, is the opportunity is there if we handle our business week after week. I was on the record of saying 13-3, best case scenario if healthy and everything is clicking. At the moment, we already got the 3-part right. Now we just got to add on the 13 if possible. But hey, all I'm worried about is 1-0 this week and let the chips fall where they may. But we're gonna keep pounding over here, folks, and we're gonna make sure that we bring it to you in a way that you can understand the whys of what's going on. And as always, we just thank you for your support, your comments, and your interesting debates that you share with us on all of our four-man rush accounts. We appreciate the love, and make sure you tell others about us as well.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for checking us out. This is the Four-Man Rush podcast for the Carolina Panthers. I'm your host, Timmy V.O., along with Kevin and Will and Larry. And shout out to Monty, Canardo, Norris, a.k.a. Mike Allstott, Jadarius, and Vince. And no matter when you're listening to this podcast, whether it's the morning, afternoon, or evening, we hope you're having a good day. We hope you're enjoying yourselves and taking care of yourselves. And make sure you check out our Four-Man Rush website at thefourmanrush.com. You can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And hey, keep your head up. Keep your head up. We still got 9 games left, right? Keep your head up. Playing no games. Show up. Get up. Stand up. And as always, keep pounding. Ugh. Come on, Sunday.
That was good. Very informative.
It was. I hate that it had to be that type of inspiration, but yeah, that was very informative.
This game, I don't know. I think we're gonna win this game, but I can't lie. This is gonna be a tougher game than people expecting it to be.
I hear you, man.
Seeing people on Facebook saying, "Oh, we got these bums this week. This will be easy for Allen to bounce back." I'm like, I don't know about all that.
Nah,
bums.
Ain't no bums. Don't sleep. Tannehill can throw that rock too, cuz. Don't sleep.
Closest only bum team on our schedule is probably the Redskins.
The Falcons. That's it.
Yeah, Falcons, of course.
That's it.
Take time to really let it breathe. So baby, just chill. She love it. We out in public and we can just chill with my partners, and we can go back to my crib and just chill under covers and do we call me and you lovers.
The Four-Man Rush is brought to you by the love and respect of and for the Carolina Panthers and Carolina Panther fans everywhere. Keep pounding. The Four-Man Rush is a non-affiliate of the Carolina Panther organization. All thoughts, assessments, and content of this podcast is directly related to the Four-Man Rush exclusively. Thank you.